Cyberthreats. Sam Palmisano is former president and CEO of IBM, and he's currently vice chair of the Commission on Enhancing National Cybersecurity. He joins us from New York. Sam, thanks for being here. You know, we had you on the set in Washington about the commission and the report, and I want to get your thoughts. After that, we had the national intelligence folks up on the Hill answering questions, and they seemed to not say they had a plan in place. You know, it seems like it's been a long time to come up with this cyber attack plan.
Well, Brett, as you know, I've spent a year going through and studying all elements of this. Our focus really was not on national security by the direction of the executive order, but more on the commercial economic side. But having been through all the work that was done, we had multiple hearings. I agree. There's no comprehensive end-to-end plan. And it's a combination of policy, it's a combination of technology, it's a combination of research and development. And as Rex said, it's also a combination of international relations, trade agreements, acts of war, et cetera, et cetera. So if you stand back from it, and I spent a year now looking at this, there really isn't an end-to-end plan, which we came up with some recommendations, but we were only focused on the commercial side of things, not the national security side of things.
So after looking at it as in-depthly as closely as you did, where would you rate where the U.S. is as far as its ability to deal with this issue broadly?
My opinion, and I spent a lot of time on the national security side when I was working with the Cyber Command Center, as well as other work I did with the Council of Foreign Relations. We're really good technically within that establishment. It doesn't mean things aren't going to happen, but if you had to rank the things in the U.S. as far as our ability to deal with cyber, to protect our society and our economy, quite honestly, national security, the intelligence agencies, and the military are the best that we have within government. From there, it goes downhill very, very quickly. The commercial side of government, the OPM hack, those sorts of things. There's a significant amount of work that needs to be done to clean up the infrastructure of the support systems of the U.S. government. We also need a lot to do to enhance the Internet for the citizens, and that's authentication, identification management, access points, and the like. But all that needs to be done. That's when I talk about a comprehensive report. Like a lot of things in large organizations, it's very fragmented, and no one has stood back. I mean, the president has never asked for a strategy. I mean, and it's not just the past administration. We could go back. We went back to the Clinton administration. No one has asked for, give me a strategy to deal with this problem that's end-to-end, that touches all elements of our society, not only national security or not only the commercial economic interest or not only the banking system, an end-to-end strategy. And, oh, by the way, when you do that, we need to have somebody in charge. And we have no one in charge.
So are you encouraged by what you hear from President-elect Donald Trump about his plans, his administration's plans to deal with this?
Well, I think, quite honestly, in light of all the attention it's getting now because of the Russian hack in the election, you know, or the process of the DNC, et cetera, I think now we have a heightened awareness. But somebody needs to do something, Brad. I mean, I've been on this subject for almost 10 years. Someone needs to take an action. By that I mean, I would suggest, and we say in the report, the president should appoint somebody who's in charge of a cyber strategy, that if something occurs, they can convene the meeting with the appropriate people. Someone needs to be put in charge. It is that simple. Now, then a lot of work has to occur, but I would start with putting somebody in charge. And there is no one, as of today, in charge.
We talked last time you were with me about how extensive this is. It also includes the Internet of Things, anything essentially connected to the Internet. And there are some amazing stories out there, Sam, about what hackers are getting access to and what they're seeing and what they're doing.
You're absolutely correct. And you had a speaker on a couple of nights ago that talked about the Internet of Things. All these devices today, even the home devices, are connected to the Internet. And basically, we call them access points. They're points of entry, whether it's a camera, a sensor, a Siri, whatever that it happens to be, Alexa, etc. And the challenge associated with it is, first of all, those devices need to become more secure. We recommend they put, I'll call it the cyber star, like like the energy efficiency star of the past. That when you buy one of these devices, you get a rating on its security in that device itself. So you rate the devices. Secondarily, another thing, we need to educate people. I mean, if you're a high-profile person, if you have a Lexus or something in your home, you need to understand that as you interface with that device, it's building a pattern of your behavior in the cloud. So it's creating your profile. Now, for somebody like me that's retired, nobody's going to care. But somebody like you or somebody who's in a high position, either in the private sector or the public sector, they need to understand. I'll make the analogy. I mean, people used to say, well, I deleted my email. Well, delete never stood for erase until all these embarrassing situations occurred when people realized they really didn't get rid of their email, they just deleted it. Well, it's the same thing today. As you use these devices, there's a profile being built. My point is they're terrific devices, and they're wonderful for personal convenience, but the user needs to be educated to the associated implications as they interface with these kinds of technologies.
Yeah. Sam, it is scary stuff, and we really appreciate you coming on, and we'll follow this issue because it's obviously big for the country. I may go to carrier pigeons. I'm not sure, just to be safe. Sam, thank you so much.
Sure thing. Thank you so much.
All right.